underground storm cellar. Inside the bunker, the physical pressure of the storm mirrors Mitchell's internal frustration. He refuses to continue the charade, especially in front of his daughter, Lily. He stands up and drops the act. He tells Grams directly that he is a lawyer and Cam's husband. He reveals that they are raising Lily together as a family. The room falls silent as the wind howls above. Grams listens to the confession. She does not suffer a medical emergency. Instead, she acknowledges that family is the only thing that matters. The secret is gone, and Mitchell finally sheds the overall.
Claire Dunphy creates a fake Facebook profile under the name Margot LaCroix to monitor her children's social movements. Her suspicion centers on her son, Luke. She opens the Find My iPhone app on her tablet to track his real-time coordinates. The map places him at Sammy's salvage yard, a site Claire associates with drug use. She forces her husband, Phil, to drive to the location. A tall, rusted metal fence blocks their line of sight. Claire demands Phil deploy his professional real estate drone to bypass the barrier. Phil puts on an umbrella hat and video goggles to pilot the device. The drone clears the fence and hovers over the salvage yard. The camera feed transmits directly to Phil's monitors. He sees Luke and Manny in the center of the yard. They are not using drugs. Instead, their clothes are torn and their faces are covered in theatrical blood. They jump between stacks of tires and rusted car frames. Claire realizes they are filming a zombie parkour movie. The drone hovers too low, and the children notice the aircraft. Luke points at the sky. He tells the others that a major movie studio is spying on them to steal their ideas. He specifically names Steven Spielberg as the culprit. Phil and Claire retreat to their vehicle in a state of total embarrassment. They have used professional surveillance technology to catch a crime, only to find a low-budget film set. Their invasion of privacy is complete.
Mitchell and Cameron sit at a restaurant, determined to validate their own relationship by acting as mentors to others. They notice Brandon, a young man at the next table, preparing to propose to his girlfriend, Katie. To document the moment, Cameron uses his smartphone to record the event in secret. Mitchell begins a speech intended to illustrate the beauty of a long-term union. He lists the daily facts of their life together: constant compromise, repetitive negotiations, and stretches of absolute boredom. He believes he is praising the endurance of love. Katie listens to his words. When Brandon presents the ring and asks for her hand, the atmosphere shifts. Katie processes Mitchell's description of a life defined by compromise. She looks at Brandon and realizes she can imagine a future without him. She rejects the proposal and leaves the restaurant immediately. Brandon remains at the table, silenced by the public rejection. Mitchell and Cameron try to offer support, but their intervention has already achieved its unintended result. The failure is finalized by a technical glitch. Cameron's smartphone begins to loop the recording of the breakup. The device repeatedly plays Katie's voice, stating that she can imagine her life without Brandon. The restaurant fills with the sound of the relationship ending on a loop. Mitchell and Cameron, who sought to prove they were a model couple, successfully dismantled a proposal with a single, poorly timed observation.
Jay fires his successor for embezzlement and turns to his daughter, Claire, with a job offer. He wants her to take over the family business. Claire hesitates. She remembers the summer 20 years ago when she worked under him. To her, Jay was not just a boss. He was a dictator who micromanaged her into submission. The offer feels less like an opportunity and more like a return to a professional cage. To test her instincts, Claire takes a temporary shift at a roller rink snack bar. She stands behind the service counter, managing a chaotic flow of orders and inventory. She handles equipment failures and a sick child with clinical efficiency. The high-pressure environment does not break her. Instead, it proves she still possesses the sharp, decisive edge required for leadership. She realizes her years as a stay-at-home mother have not dulled her competence. Jay approaches the counter, pushing for an immediate answer. He attempts to use their familial bond to force her hand. Claire does not flinch. She stands her ground and lists the facts of his past behavior. She details how he talked down to her and ignored her boundaries. She tells him directly that she will not subject herself to his toxicity again. She rejects the offer, prioritizing her independence over his corporate legacy. On the skating rink, the tension finally shifts. Jay admits his disappointment, but recognizes that his daughter is no longer someone he can intimidate. They skate together in a silent acknowledgement of her strength. The power dynamic has been reset. Claire has reclaimed her professional identity, proving she will only return to the workplace as a partner, never as a subordinate.
Jay and Gloria stand outside Mitchell's house, certain they have been blacklisted from the family's game night. When no one answers the door, they break into the house to conduct a manual sweep for evidence. They find empty wine glasses and discarded sketches from a game of Pictionary. The discovery confirms they were excluded. Jay picks up a drawing of a donkey next to a pair of lips. He labels it Donkey Mouth and immediately blames Gloria's aggressive personality and poor drawing skills for their social exile. Gloria retaliates, accusing Jay of being a joyless bully who ruins every social gathering. They trade insults over the sketch pad, convinced the rest of the family finds them intolerable. The investigation takes a sharp turn when a delivery man enters, asking for a signature. Jay signs the clipboard with a crude drawing of a cat, confirming his own lack of talent. As they continue to argue, Manny watches from the shadows before stepping forward. He reveals a red envelope, the original invitation. Manny intercepted the mail and hid it. He didn't want his parents at the party because he needed the house empty to practice his poetry without their interference. He intentionally left the game remnants out to trigger their insecurities. Manny calculated that they would blame each other's flaws rather than suspect him. Jay and Gloria realize they have been played. Their son didn't just hide a letter. He orchestrated a psychological collapse to secure his own privacy. Manny exits the room, leaving his parents in a state of stunned, silent defeat. Phil and Claire Dunphy stand before a wall-sized whiteboard. It is a tactical map of their children's summer. They are not looking for family activities. They are looking for a gap. They need a 6-day window where the house is empty. To get it, they begin a coordinated strike on their children's autonomy. Phil targets Alex first. He enters her room with a brochure for a volunteer program in El Salvador. He doesn't mention the distance. He focuses on the academic prestige. Alex notes the unstable government and the risk of earthquakes. Phil remains silent, letting her ambition do the work. She agrees to leave the country. One name is wiped from the board. Haley is moved through financial leverage. Phil offers to fund a beach trip, gas meals, and new clothes on the condition that it aligns with the late July window. When Haley tries to raise the price, Phil shuts her down. He describes a future where she stays home, friendless and bored, while her peers are at the coast. Haley signs the deal. Luke is the final variable. He wants to stay home for a girl. Phil pivots to psychological manipulation. He warns Luke about the trap of commitment at 14 and the new girls waiting at summer camp. He frames the departure as an escape. Luke folds. The time vacuum is complete. The house goes silent as the children depart. Phil celebrates by lighting candles and presenting souvenirs from their first date. The romantic gesture backfires. Claire watches her husband's genuine warmth and realizes the cold efficiency of her own plan. She has successfully cleared her life of her children, leaving her alone with a guilt she did not schedule. Jay pulls a robe out of Manny's suitcase, stripping the luggage down to the essentials. He has one goal: get Manny on a plane to Colombia for 30 days. Gloria enters the room in tears, clinging to her son. Jay physically maneuvers her out the door. He needs silence to execute the plan. The mission stalls when the